Welcome everyone to Hydro Hustlers episode 8. We think we can't remember all the time, but
It
we'll
is,
try.
yeah.
It is 8. Tonight we've got a special episode for you. I had the thought and brought it up with everyone to do a women in marijuana episode. So in this episode, we decided to bring on Tanner from Stewart Farms. He has just hired a new director of cultivation, our very own Miss Nudie Growth. So she's on her way, getting ready to move here in a couple days to head out east to New Brunswick. And we're excited for her and for the new adventure she's going to be on. So we just thought, what a better way than interview the two of them and let you guys join in on the fun. So Tanner, why don't you give us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Casey. Yeah, so my name's Tanner Stewart. I am the founder of Stewart Vertical Farms Inc. I'm actually a vertical farmer, indoor vertical farmer originally in the indoor ag space. So 7 years ago, I got involved in aquaponics and vertical farming combined. So when I was out in Alberta, where Miss Nudie is coming from, she's coming east with me here. Uh, I got into vertical farming of leafy greens. So spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard. We were doing tilapia out there. It was a 12-story vertical farm prototype. So myself and this team at this tech startup called Nutroponics, we built this farm completely from scratch. Did everything wrong you could imagine within the farm, and I kind of spent 3.5 to 4 years really honing in on getting food to market within Alberta. So we sold through a company called Organic Box, and we also sold to the local conference centers and some high-end restaurants there. And we sold our tilapia to the local Asian markets. So there's TNT markets and Lucky 97s or 99s, or I can't 97 or 99s out there. So we sold all our fish to those local Asian markets, and that was really the foundation that call it roughly 4 years of pure trial by fire. The nice thing, it's funny because one of the comments I would get when I started getting into the cannabis industry in early 2018, which was right on the heels or kind of overlapping this food endeavor a little bit, I kept hearing from the cannabis industry, especially the most kind of entrenched growers. They kept saying to me, lettuce, weed isn't lettuce. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. And as if it was this revelation or kind of newsflash for me. But but they were all right. Growing leafy greens is in it, it's far more. I'm not going to say particular because you can pump out a lot of leafy greens in a 15 to 30 day period. However, you're growing just the leaves, right? And when you think about one of the biggest uh, dreaded moments in cultivation and cannabis is you're like, oh, my leaf is yellow. Why is it yellow? I don't know. It could be one of these 500 different things. So what happened was I went through 30-day cycles over and over and over and over again instead of these 4 month cycles, right? So was I learning to grow a fruiting crop? Well, no, but we were learning faster cycles. We doubled our yield in about a 12-month period when I had my chief science officer working for us out there. But it was just more iterations. So it was really what got me ready for indoor agriculture in general. It gave me a good foundation in farming fish and plants together and how to balance. It was a little bit of a different technology than we're using at Stewart Farms. We weren't using soil; we were using rock wall. It was rock wall and water, right? At Stewart Farms, we're using living soil and fish water, so we made it more complicated, I guess, than even what it was at Nutroponics. But yeah, so it's basically I've been before that. I've been an entrepreneur for 16 years in construction. So I went, construction, indoor food, and now we're back to cannabis. I guess you want to go way back, weed, graduated, tree planting, and then now I'm back. Now I'm back again, but that's maybe too far.
So what made you decide to go for your licensing then in Canada for the cannabis?
Well, it was a
Just,
couple.
just the gradual next step for the aquaponics or?
Yeah, I mean, it was economic for sure, and it was familiarity, right? One of the things I like to say is, in 2018, I was eating lettuce, smoking weed for 15 years, and eating lettuce for five. So I was like, okay, let's go to a plant that I'm more familiar with, and have a closer attachment to, but also economics. Another thing that there's this massive the investment community is such a herd of sheep, just in general, right? So like, they just all move together, the hedge funds, the VC firms, or whatever. And when I was raising capital for my food startup, we were focused on lettuce. I kept hearing, why aren't you doing weed, man? What's going on? Weed's real hot. And then, in the last year and a half, as all these big companies have been crashing and burning, and blowing investor value away, right? Now everybody's like, the pandemic, right? Because of the pandemic, everybody's like, why aren't you doing lettuce still? That's where it's at, right? And it's just this mob mentality. But what I tell those people is, on tomatoes' best day of the week and cannabis's worst day of the week, you're going to get more money for weed still, right? So it is the highest value fruiting crop in the world, full stop, right? So when you look at what we're doing from a health and wellness and technology perspective, so Stewart Farms has not left, my roots in the ag tech world. We're selling, we want to help people. We're selling cannabis to make people feel better and hopefully give them a great experience, whatever products we put out. But we're using that money to advance agriculture technology. So we're on our way back to vertical farming again, and we're still doing aquaponics. So I want to make as much money as humanly possible off of the crop that we're going to grow, and that is cannabis. Period. Right? Not spinach. I love spinach too, but it's just not as valuable.
So skipping ahead a little bit, what, how did you find Miss Nudie?
Instagram.
Because I've been privy to this knowledge for a little while, and I've known you've been headhunting and whatnot. So Instagram's how you found her, hey?
Yeah, well, it was actually my right hand woman, Katrina Jackson, had stumbled over Miss Nudie, and I was kind of coming onto the tail end of my third or fourth attempt at director of cultivation, I suppose. And those are all good good people, but I think what they were missing was this kind of like, I want obsession is the best word, like, like
Passion.
like I and yeah, passion and obsession, right? And then saying, uh saying you have those things, and exuding, and actually having those things are very different. I mean, it's like it's the so that's what I'm looking for in a director of cultivation. And Katrina pointed out Miss Nudie's Instagram to me, and of course we went through more than a couple interviews, and uh, uh, and I have my mentor, Kevin Jodry, out of he's down in Garberville down there, and he's my go-to. Like, I've got one person that I want to do proud in the cannabis industry, and it's him, because he's directly tied to our company. and I go to him for guidance, and and he's just the, I mean, there's lots of other guys in the cannabis industry too that sure I'd love to impress, but he's the mentor. He is, if I can do anything close to what Kevin has done, I'm going to be happy, right? And when Kevin smokes my weed and he likes it, I'm going to be happy if we're doing good in the genetics world. But anyway, so I sent uh, you know kind of sent a bunch of information, her resume and all that stuff to Kevin as well, and I actually tried to connect them, and it just didn't work out. But he read through all of her stuff, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for passion and obsession. I want somebody when when somebody's in when Miss Nudi's standing in a Stewart Farms grow room, I'm going to be comfortable because I want to know that my director of cultivation is concerned with every single plant and giving them nicknames and looking under the canopy and calling me and emailing me and sending me picture whatever it is and being like, oh my God, this bud on this particular plant in row 4A buried in the middle. Like, that's what you got to see this. You got to see this one bud that I found on this one plant out of all the plants in your farm. And that's just kind of what we're looking for. And I think that's what we're getting.
I think you're getting that and much, much more.
I know this is
team leader. I know that much.
This so, yeah, this is super win-win for me too. Cause just listen to him talk. Like, I'm just like, I haven't heard all of this either. And so just listening to that, it's going to be awesome. Cause mostly that's the stuff that I have to tuck away a little bit. Cause I don't like come in hot at work, I guess. And not that I'm saying I'm going to come in all hot or whatever, but like just that passion, usually I have to dilute that quite a bit. And I'm excited to not have to. Like, I'm go chasing down all my old bosses, telling them about some bud in room 104. Like, they do not give a fuck. And so this is different. Yeah. So I appreciate that. And you're going to, yeah. You want communication? You got it. Yeah. So this is good. It's kind of like a puzzle piece for me. Like, what he was sort of missing, I wanted, and what I was missing, he wanted. So it worked out well together.
Awesome. I can just tell. I've just met Tanner here 20 minutes ago for the first time, half hour for the first time, and your guys' energy is going to mesh very well. I can tell you it's going to be a great fit, and I'm excited. Unfortunately, I won't get to try it unless I come up to Canada to see what you guys can do in this market. It's wide open for craft cannabis at the moment. So,
but I'm much closer now over to Michigan, so that's way more doable. A lot of my mentors come from Michigan, so, and the East Coast of the States.
Yeah, very much.
My new town is a border town. Thank you, Elkie.
Just Googling it right now. It's only 18 hours. Yeah.
See?
We'll
Michigan?
Yeah, St. Stephen in Michigan. Yeah, I just Googled it. It's because you're on the other side of Toronto.
Just to the top, the tippity top. Yeah.
Take down there and now go 8 hours north, and that's where I am.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up in the Upper Peninsula. So
yeah, you're on the wrong side of Ontario. You got to get on the other side.
I've already been Googling like where everything is from where I'll be, including all my besties' houses. So I know I'm not that far from you guys. I'm also really close to Cape Cod, which I just recently Googled. That's where Stephen King wrote most of his books. So I need to take a trip up there.
We're right on the border of Maine. So like, for any of the US viewers, 6.5 hours north of Boston, 9 hours north of New York, 6 hours north of Boston on the I-95. The minute you cross the border into Canada on the I-95, you're at Stewart Farms. Like, we are literally on.
Come visit.
Yeah.
I'll be there in 3
smell
weeks.
You across the border.
Oh yeah, when you get to Calais, Maine, on a good day, you should smell us. Yeah.
That's exciting.
I wanted to ask you, Tanner. You said about optimizing yield in your old veggie production. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I thought that would maybe be very interesting for some of our viewers. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, like in any agricultural format, it's all about, you know, kilograms per square meter in Canada or pounds per square foot in the US ultimately. So um, and we went through it all. So you know, we hunted um, the appropriate lettuces and spinaches and kales that would function properly in our vertical farming setting. We were using so to explain the whole system, it was a more traditional aquaponics style system. So we had our above ground tilapia tanks. We had quite tightly packed vertical shelves. Like I would say they were about 18 to 20 inches apart with really thin LED bars. Now at the time, this is kind of interesting because this is about, you know, 5 years ago or so now, I guess. And LED lights, it cannot be underappreciated or overappreciated. Sorry, it cannot be overappreciated how far LEDs have come in less than half a decade. It is unbelievable because at the time when we were trying to find LED lights for our leafy greens, there were so few good options on the market that we actually ended up designing our own. They were 60-watt LED bars. We had a technology company in Edmonton that we did it with, and it was very blue red. Like, it was not full spectrum. You can do that with leafy greens, right? You can, you know, full spectrum isn't as required, right, as you would want in a fruiting crop. And it was a complete um, closed loop system. So that meant that the water was always circulating between the fish tanks and the plants. So it was a coupled system or a closed loop system. So it was just the water was continually rotating. So you were relying on balancing your pH levels were always kind of fighting with each other because your ideal pH for your fish and your plants are slightly variable and you know, so you're kind of fighting, like, you know, I think with the fish you kind of want more like around 6 ish, I believe, and with leafy greens I think we were aiming for closer to 7 or just over 7. That wasn't that drastically off, but still you're compromising, right, in a closed loop system. So you know, step number one was what type of lettuce or spinach or kale will function best in our farm. So when I say we were hunting the seeds, you know, it was by, you know, kind of type of lettuce. So it's not like the individual seeds weren't, you know, were working. We had to find the right spinach that that would yield enough. So that was kind of step number one. And then step number two, and most of that was based off germination rate, right? So again, same with Canada, you know, what are we getting? Are we getting 90%, 80%, anything over 90% was good. Anything under 90% was shit, right? So we were aiming for 90% plus germination rates on our leafy greens. That was kind of step one. Step two was what was our first run, and then everything always boiled down to a, you know, kilogram per square meter calculation. So at the time, my chief science officer, her name was Stephanie Bach. She was tasked with, you know, your job is to get better yields, grow after grow after grow, because ultimately this is what the prototype was trying to determine. It was trying to determine, you know, how can this thing make money, right? How much do we
Yeah.
have to grow, and how little labor, you know, can we put into this thing to actually make it viable? Now, if there's one thing that one kind of key thing that is a given rule in food production in indoor agriculture, especially is that the plants have to move to the people. So this was one of our, so the only thing we did not have a fully automated farm. It was all fixed and stationary. So we had to go up and down shelves and you know, manually get in there. But that was fine because you can, because that was the whole goal. It was, you know, can we hit, you know, the red, or get out of the red? Can we hit the black? Uh, in a completely non-automated farm. So it was really that whole exercise, Alki, was to uh, just get a baseline of numbers. Essentially, it was like what is the maximum yield we can get out of the spinach, and what is the maximum yield we can get out of this romaine lettuce, with a non-automated farm, with the energy and the labor and all this other stuff, and operating the fish system, how close to profitability can we get? And then the next part of the calculation is, and then we automate. And that should give us, and that should make us 30% better. But speaking about that automation part, it's no different in cannabis, right? It's just, but the difference is you've got more margin to lose that you can kind of afford. You can not, you can't really afford to lose margin, but you just do, right? So
you can invest in the wrong product, right?
yeah, exactly. And like, so you see all these 2-tier and 3-tier farms, like the number one killer for vertical farming and food is scissor lifts, right? When you have to get in a scissor lift to go work on your plants, right? Now I come from construction, okay, 16 years and counting in construction. So when my guy, I don't do it anymore, but when my guys are pricing out a job and you put a welder in a scissor lift, guess what that multiplier is? It's like times 2.5 or times 3. So for every 1 hour out of the scissor lift, you're going to spend 2 to 3 hours doing the same job in the scissor lift. So it's not sustainable. So like if you want to run a bank, a for sure going to be bankrupt lettuce farm that's vertical, make it not automated and make sure you have to use scissor lifts, right? So you look at that in the cannabis industry, and it is rampant. And this was not specifically to point to where you're coming from, Miss Nudie, but anyways, but I see it across the whole industry. But these are lessons I learned in lettuce, right? No.
Goddamn scissor lifts, but I can drive those like a motherfucker, and I have my license. But yeah, damn it, 3-tier vertical farming.
Yeah.
I'm your gal.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good in a lot of ways. It's just
Mm-hmm.
if you get the scissor lifts have to go. There has to be that's the final part of it, which of course costs a lot more money on the front end to
Yeah.
make your system move, right?
I always imagined like a ladder that was like, in one of those libraries where you're just like swinging off to like, I'm going over to this plant. Like, I don't know where that technology is, but that
It
would
exists.
fit in the actual aisles, so you could have more than 2 people working on 900 plants. But yeah, that's my only issue is they're just so big and clunky, and people that don't know what they're doing are breaking shit everywhere with these scissor lifts, like boom, right up into the roof. Like it's dangerous unless you have the right people doing it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it seems like you have to lean over a little bit in those, like
And
quite
they're
far,
not
right?
always like, I mean, I trust them, but when you get up to as high as they will go, like, I don't even know how many feet you're up in the air, they do kind of sway a little bit, and I don't know. It's a
They
little
just
scary.
take your efficiency way down, right?
Yeah, like you're constantly worried about your balance, and like you should see me when I'm trimming on one of those tall ladders. Like I have my legs wrapped in the thing, and I'm like, shoot, like I can't do that in a scissor lift because I don't feel safe enough. It's not stable enough. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the standard in indoor agriculture is set by the Dutch, right? So, like, another thing I've kind of, this isn't a hard and fast rule, but the Dutch have some of the most advanced greenhouses in the world, and that's what they say. The plants have to move to the people. The people can't move to the plants. I was in an orchid factory. They do something ridiculous, like I don't know what it was. It was either 8 million or 80 million. Both of those numbers sound ridiculous to me. Orchids a year, and the whole thing was basically automated. Like the orchids would, they'd be on these conveyor belts, and they'd have these RFID tags underneath them. But there was one part that they couldn't automate, and it was at a certain part in the orchid's life. You have to tie them up in a certain way, right? And they tried to few different machines, but just requires that hand touch. So how they solved that problem is that one part in the facility, there was like a row of 30 people sitting perfectly ergonomically, just like, you know, very, very comfortably right here. And the orchid would just come to them. It was just the loop right in front of each person. There was this little loop. The orchid would come to them. They'd tie it up, and the orchid would go away. so, so that's automation at its finest, right? Where you're at the point where you're like, okay, this is the one part we can't automate, so we'll just make it ergonomic as hell and comfortable. So. I might be off on a tangent here.
I'm keeping an eye on the chat as well.
I thought I was going to say something, but I was getting ready to ask a question.
Yeah,
So,
just
Ms.
go.
Nudie, what
type it
did
in
you
here to let
decide?
the chat's going wild. They really like you, Tanner, for changing the day and the time. We're kind of catching people, I think, after work maybe, so they're just noticing. But we have quite a few people in there right now. Everyone's hanging out. Anyways, carry on.
So what sold you, Miss Nudie, to move west?
East.
East, west, sorry. I'm upside down at the moment.
Well, honestly, like, I wouldn't even say that I was actively looking yet, but I definitely was looking for new challenges or starting to contemplate that. And so in my manifestation journal that I always write in December, which is basically a goals list, being master grower, which is just the other title, which I don't like, is the top, I guess, spot for growing and cultivation in Canada. And I just had that on my list of what I wanted to do. I had let my previous employer know that was my goal for this year. And then I just sort of kept working towards it by just hustling as hard as I can and just getting my name out there as much as possible, joining different things. And I did actually have quite a few people reach out this year. I was shocked at first, and I know I've talked to you about it, Casey. There were a couple that were just too corporate for me. I always actually thought I would end up in BC. That was always my plan for the last, I don't know, like 20 years. I've lived in Alberta for 18 years. I moved to Alberta to finish university, to move to BC. And I just have never gotten the opportunity to move to BC because it's quite expensive to live out there. And there just isn't jobs for what I was doing. I worked in nonprofit. I couldn't have made any money. And then now in weed, the only way to make money in BC is to be that top position. And so that was what I was shooting for, was to get that top position so that I would be able to live comfortably in BC, not just so I could have that top position. And it worked out that instead of the West Coast, I am going to the East Coast. So I was talking to a few different people and interviewing with a few different people, and ended up getting a few offers. And I wasn't interested in any of the other offers, honestly. Like, even while I was interviewing for these other jobs, I knew I was going to go to Stewart Farms. Like, when the first day I talked
you did
to
interviews
Tanner,
after we interviewed?
it was during. I'm sorry. They were already beginning. I didn't do one interview after. But I didn't take any of that because he came in kind of at the end where I was almost going to take one, just because I was like, I need to get out of Alberta, so I'll take this corporate job and I'll probably hate it a little bit, but I'll get paid very well and I can live in BC, right? But it wasn't even an option after we had our first Zoom meeting and we talked about it. I was already going there. Like, I probably even said that to you, like I would have idiotly at the end of our conversation, being like, I'm in, I accept. And we still had a few more conversations after that. And every single time we talked, I just knew that I was meant to, first of all, go to that type of work setting for the new learnings. The aquaponics is new to me. To get to go back to living soil, which is what I love and do every year outdoors. and just the whole new adventure of it, to just move out to the East Coast. I've had so many friends from the East Coast in my life, in my adult life, and most of them have said, you are meant to be on the East Coast. You are an East Coaster. Like, you are an East Coaster. Every single person I've told that I'm going to the East Coast is like, oh yeah, yeah, that's where you got to go. Like, no one even, there's not one of my mentors or anyone that I talked to about this before I made the decision that said, even hesitated. It was strange. It was just was so universal. And this place that I'm at right now, this beautiful homestead that I live on, the day after I accepted the offer of director, my landlord came by and said he looked like he had some tough news to deliver, because I've been out here for 2 years, and he was letting me know that they're selling the farm and that I was going to have to go. And I was like, well, I'm leaving in July. So it's just the universe came together, just like so serendipitous for this. I don't know how else to explain it except for that I just know. I know I'm supposed to go there. I know I'm gonna fit in like perfectly there. I've been looking for my weed family, my canna family, and this is them. And not just Tanner, he's awesome, but Katrina, my new best friend. She's not on this panel, but I am gonna do a show with her when I get out there. And Katrina and I met because she came across my Instagram somehow, and I was starting to do interviews at the beginning of this year for my show with women, like influential women that were inspiring me. So I was asking her to be on my show. And she's a little shy, so we haven't done it yet, but we're going to do it when I get out there. So I'm breaking her out of her shell. So
Well,
she's excited.
if I would have
with
known
consent.
Dan had such an excellent right hand like that, I would have had her sitting next to him tonight, just, since we are doing the women in cannabis, and you
Yeah,
should have told me
get
sooner
Heather
about
in
it.
here.
Yeah,
She does your trimming.
yeah, it's been. I'd rather watch her on her own, with you guys. Force her out of
Yeah.
her shell. I'm a loudmouth, so I'll jump in to any dead space.
Her and I, yeah, we're gonna have a deadly lady show like coming to you in August, guys. It'll just be me and her, and it's gonna be phenomenal. But just like that whole vibe, they got me a place to stay. Like, they've made it really easy for me to say yes. So I appreciate that, because
That's
it's
awesome.
stressful.
I saw a post today.
I knew within 5 minutes of talking to Tanner tonight that you were a perfect fit for that place, and I'm beyond excited for you. Beyond
New
excited.
bestie alert.
Well, this is her post. Actually, this is Miss Nudi's very last post on Instagram. Let your weird light shine bright, so other weirdos know where to find you. I subscribe to that. And that's to me, that's what makes the potential of a great company. You don't want to. At least I don't. I don't want a bunch of drones. I want people that have something to prove, right? I want people. I want people who have something to prove to themselves, right? Not to. I mean, by default, you look to your peers outside of yourself as well. Though otherwise, you have no validation. But that's mainly concerned not the image of what they want people to see, but like what they actually do, and they execute. And typically it's the fringe type people, the weirdos, so to speak, that accomplish the things, right? I'm like the X-Men, right? The X-Men are cool. It's a bunch of weirdos together on a great team, right? And and we're not, we have a lot of work to do, right? And that's how I feel as an up and coming company in the cannabis industry. We don't have there's a ton of companies out there that have an ungodly amount of mediocre SKUs or products on the market. They have a huge percentage of the Canadian market, because of that. It's not because their products are all amazing. It's because they have so much money, other people's money, investors' money, publicly, they're all these publicly traded companies. They just have the ability to put so many SKUs out that they can keep their revenues up. We don't have that luxury, right? We're small. Everything we put out has to be good, and we have to keep getting better every time we put out a new product. And that's what I'm looking for in my team. It's just like a group of people. None of us I don't want anybody to show up and be like, oh, I'm the best, because that's not the case. I just want everybody on the team to be like, how can we be better tomorrow? How can we be better tomorrow? Right?
Yeah,
What do
you
I
want someone where the perfect image of someone's butts, and you'll give them a compliment and they will just say, yeah, I burned that in the first 2 weeks, like just openly
Yeah.
admitting the first thing they made wrong in that, because
Yeah.
that's how you get better, right? You
Yeah.
understand the
Yeah.
little subtle signs that it gives you, and even if it's just very, very slight, a little jagged leaf or something, oh,
Mhm.
I burned that a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's just, get in there and mess up and then figure out how to not do that the next time, right? But I mean, you can't when you have like such massive companies running around with a significant collection of people who I'm sure don't care about their position at these particular larger operations, because it's just so hard, right? It's so hard to maintain. When you need 300 people, right? You can't bank on 250 of them being passionate and actually caring about their job, right? You're
Yeah,
lucky
and
if you
I don't think you can find 280 of them people
yeah,
being passionate.
exactly.
To be honest, in this world, it's sad. It's really hard to put a great team together.
it's
Yeah.
it's probably a lot about the environment, like you said. Like you have to have the weird team, the team that has fun, the team
Culture.
where everything comes naturally, and you don't have to have like a corporate culture. You can have a corporate culture, or you can have a corporate business, but you can have a non-corporate culture. Um,
Yeah.
That is the other reason that I wanted to go over there, is because I can sense the vibe over there and the culture, and that's partly the family sort of thing that I want to be a part of. So it's very different out here. I've been part of two big kind of like starting up companies now and watching them grow, like starting out really, really passionate and good, and just like the corporateness gets in the way, the lack of passion, just like you said, the 250 people that don't give a shit, it's the more people you have, the worse your company is almost. Like it's just better to keep it small. And that's just, I'm not a business lady at all. I'm excited to learn some of that. But just people, the amount of people that watching them bring the amount of people that they bring in, like from 90 people a week to even 10 people a week, too many.
Yeah,
And
speed,
just
speed, speed, speed of growth is one of the main issues for sure, right? So we're at, I mean, we'll be at 30 people. So it's not that we don't have anyone working for us, but
it's a good
these 30,
size.
we're decent sized because we've got the topicals manufacturing, the bath bombs, the creams. We're doing pre rolls now. We're getting you know what I mean. The cultivation team's fairly small, and then we have all this manufacturing going on at the same time. But it allows us, because we've got these entry level positions on the manufacturing team, so it allows us to kind of bring people in and test them out. So I believe you can have a company of as large as 300 people and have, let's call it, 80% of them. Like I think you can have quite a high percentage of team members in a large company on board, but it is definitely culturally driven from the very beginning. I'm 16 years into being an entrepreneur, okay? And I feel like I'm just starting to get pretty good at it. There's the team building part is tough. Like it is tough, and
Mhm.
and it's like you bring in and right now what we have, and I can say right now what Stewart Farms has And my construction company has it too, because I let go of I don't run that other company that I have out. It's actually in Alberta. I don't run it. I'm in New Brunswick. So it's a lot to do with letting go, right? It's a lot to do with like letting go of kind of the reins to the people who have the cultural leadership vibes and formats that you're looking for as a leader. So I don't like the, as an example, I don't like the, I'm very demanding. I expect a lot out of my good people, but I don't demand it from them. I expect it, right? But that's because if you're good, I expect you to do good work. But you gotta ask people to accomplish things. You're part of a team. I don't think anybody's beyond sweeping up the floor. And that came right from the very beginning when I became an entrepreneur in the welding trades and construction trades, right? Like people should sweep up after themselves and clean up after themselves. So it's really just like identifying those team members that first you put in those leadership positions, and then have them expect the same things out of their subordinates, and so on and so forth. So it can be done. And I think we have the opportunity to do that. But we can't hire 200 people next week, right? We're 30 now. If we're 300 people 3 years from now, that can probably be maintained pretty decently. Uh, and then, but what happens is your team ends up driving the non-performers out. That's like the ideal situation, and that's what I want as a leader. I want a company where as soon as the person with the shitty attitude shows up, they don't last very long, because their supervisors or their leaders or their teammates are like, hey, you know this guy or gal is showing up, taking 30-minute smoke break. They're taking away from my potential promotion because the company is paying them to do nothing. Right, that's really what happens, right? You end up, so I try to, as at this point in my career, I'm doing my best within reason to kind of have the whole team understand that, right? And that's something that was never really, um uh, I can't remember in my work career when I've heard somebody explain that to me actually on a personal level, but I try to explain it to my team. It's like if you've got 5 people on your team who are doing 50% less work than everyone else, well, you know, the company uh, has less money to grow the other people that are there, right? Now of course that comes with a background context of, does the company actually, is, if it's, you know does the company actually give back to its employees? That's kind of a caveat that comes with that type of conversation, right? You actually have to have a management team that will grow its people. But anyways, to summarize this rant, my concern is as few really high quality weirdos as possible to excel this company into the long term.
So to go off that a little bit, what's our favorite weirdo's first job when she gets out there?
I don't know. She's missing the seed pop because I have to do the seed pop. I have to do the seed pop this week. You're just
What'd you pop? What are you popping?
I have to
Secrets.
I'm a genetic junkie. So what are you popping, my friend?
I have to make that decision tomorrow morning. I can tell you I've got about 30 different strains that I want to pop. I think I can only pop 10 to 15 of them. But I can tell you, I think what we're going to do here, it's going to be about, what am I going to do here? A 200. I got 120. Sorry, I got 200 plant positions. Sorry, I'm just doing some math here. I think I'm going to pop about 200 to 400 seeds. Right, all my seeds.
Real pheno hunt.
Yeah, they're all regular, but I have to. I'm not going to go as deep into, like when I did my dosi, we got dosi cake right now. I popped 78 dosi cakes on my last hunt. That's a good amount, right? To hunt through. But on this pop, Yeah, it was really nice. It's nice to have that many, right? But this is going to be a little shallower. It's probably going to be 20 to 40 seeds per genetic. Not
That's
that.
one of my buckets.
Yeah, it won't
That's
be
one of
that
my
deep.
buckets.
That's for sure.
Addicted.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
outdoor photo hunt right there for us. But
Oh, I'd never put those outdoors. I'd protect them every way I could indoors.
but we're going to be looking to fill in some missing flavor profiles. I can tell you that much. So really, we're looking at what we have. We've got a good amount of gas right now. We've got quite a few cookies. I've got original cookies, which specifically the original cookies cut, Royal Kush, Mandelbrot's Royal. So we've got some good Hollywood OG, LA Pure Kush. So we have like a good kind of base, good gas, good earth. We got Brittany's frozen lemons. We have some good, so that's a good citrus. But I'm basically just going to be going across the flavor profile,
You're
more or
missing them
less.
berries.
Yeah,
That
some berries,
grapey sounds like.
maybe some banana, some lime. So I'm just kind of trying to fill in flavor profiles right now, and high THC. Because
Yep.
you got to be hunting high THC.
It's so sad that it is high THC now. I really wish in testing they mandated we put terpene profiles on everything, terpene percentages. It's for what they're getting for testing, it should be included in there. Let us put it on our label a little bit more and people decide and really educate the people.
We're doing that. We're putting terpene. We're putting the top 3 terpenes on our labels.
three.
So like total terps, 3 to 4% or whatever, or 1 to 4% depending on the strain, and listing the top 3. But I was on a call literally this morning, and the guy's exact words, he's one of the warehouse distributors here in Canada, is 22 is the new 20, right? Because the THC dial is moving. So 6 months ago they were like, make sure you're over 20. Now they're like, make sure you're over 22, right? And you've got the 2 categories. You've got the flower THC percentage, and you got the pre-roll THC percentage. There's always a little bit of a lag, right?
Yep.
With the pre-rolls, the pre-rolls can be a little bit less THC, but all of that is all moving up. Like I bet you in 12 to 18 months, you'll be hard pressed to find anything under 20. I bet in 12 to 18 months, and I would predict
I
that.
bet you within a year we're going to be at 25 everywhere, and no one will buy it if it's under 25, unfortunately. And
I can't believe how fast the
It's not
market
supposed to
in
be high.
Canada got to 30%. Like there's 30% flour out there. I haven't tried it, but I've seen the advertisements for it. Like what? But yeah, it's killing it.
Yeah, and it's gonna.
It is because it's for me personally. I'll go on a little rant here. Sorry, everyone, but for me
Rant
personally,
away.
it doesn't do what I'm looking for. It doesn't take the pain away in my back. That's why I smoke cannabis. I've had back surgery that did not go well and need other back surgeries. I've had 6 hernia surgeries. I need a 7th, all in the same location because I keep tearing it. They have to go in and take 5 layers of mesh out, but I'm putting that off as long as I can, is what my doctor told me to do. I cannot personally take opiates because the way my system breaks them down, they do nothing for me. I could take a handful of pills and it's nothing. It'll kill me, but it won't affect the pain in my
Shut
system.
your lungs off.
Exactly. So I have to smoke that THC edibles, knock my ass on the ground. But that's how I sleep every night is my edibles. So it's that's my little bit of rant, but I have to have that full terpene profile. I can't have these ones that are testing below 1% in terpenes and it's 5% terpenes. Get them flavors up there, people. Keep that flavor in it. That stuff
that's what
that's
matters.
25, 30%. It doesn't have the terpenes. It doesn't get you there like you need it to.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of anxiety. Like, you get a lot more anxiety. You get a lot more raciness. You get a lot more. I personally have to be very careful with what strains I smoke.
What's your favorite terpene?
I don't know.
Working at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have one. I mean, I can tell you, I love strawberry leaning flavors. I love lime, lime flavors. Not as much lemon. I like that lime
Yep.
citrus side. I really like cookies. I like that doughy, earthy, sweet profile from a and smell. I like when you stick your nose in a bag and you get that right up here where you get that sweet smell in your upper nose cavity. And
Yep.
so I don't think I'm at the point where I can kind of pick a favorite or determine what. I can tell you that I'm one of those opposite, the 80-20 rule. I'm more in the 20. Like cushes don't, like, not really, no weed makes me tired. Like it's more of it's gonna keep me awake. Like one of our own strains, Sky Cuddler Double Kush, which is a fantastic strain, great experience. Um, the majority of the people that buy that here in New Brunswick, they're like, "Yeah, it's that great Kush. It makes me tired, puts me right out." And I'm like, I smoke it, my anxiety goes through the roof. I'm like, okay, I gotta smoke my cook. I smoke my cookies, right? I can't. But the Sky Color Kush is the majority of our consumers' favorite strain. I like the cookies. I'm an original cookies guy, right? And that's, I find that does it good for me. But
I think each person's endocannabinoid system and like what you ate that day and like
Mhm.
all those things, it just contributes so much to your experience at the time that it's so hard to to really pick a favorite.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's like music. You have a mood, and
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
how many questions you got here, sir?
any questions? No, I haven't prepared any questions.
What time is it there, Alki? It's got to be a
It's
little earlier.
Yeah, earlier than normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
we
8
used to
hours.
start. We used to start like in half an hour. It's
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
1:30 a.m. here.
Oh, not
AM.
bad.
Yeah,
Where are you? Where?
Denmark.
He's in
Ah,
Denmark.
Yeah.
oh,
The
very
three
cool.
of us make up an international panel.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
what are you
Now,
hoping? What are you hoping Miss Nudie brings to the team?
well, I mean, exactly what you see and what your viewers are probably used to. It's passion, passion and the you know absolute dedication for her to become the best grower that she can possibly become. I mean, I want my people and the people that are working on the Stewart Farms team. I just want them to be the best of the best. I want, so uh, hopefully just this consuming drive to energize the team and grow great weed and just learn, right? I mean, I use my team to teach myself, right? If so I'll be, this is something she'll get used to, and I'll go and I want to know. I mean, the other day I actually asked Kevin Jodry about this eventually. See, Kevin, I have Kevin there, right? And he's great, but I don't message him 7 times. Him and I, we get on a call every couple weeks or every month or so. We spend like an hour and a half, and I got like 20 questions, and I can text him 15 times a day, but I like to, but there's lots of resources out there too. We have scientific research papers. We have an ungodly amount of beautiful, cannabis books and resources, right? But little things like, uh, I went to my team the other day, but then eventually I went to Kevin with the question, and I was like, Kevin, like after we're done hang drying and we're curing, you know, how much does the sugar leaf affect the cure? How much sugar leaf should be on or off? Does it matter? Right? That's like a very like laser beam specific kind of question, but like is there research papers on it? How many people have written about it? What is everybody's opinion? I want to know. I just want to know. I don't know what the right answer is, right? But there's going to be unlimited questions coming out of me, and then she becomes great at it. She tells me what the answer is, and then I look like a genius because I tell the next 50 people I meet, this is how it works.
Welcome to the chat, Katrina.
Katrina's here. She's in the chat. Virtual hugs.
We're gonna have you on the screen here before you know it, Katrina. Just a warning.
See, that's the other part that I'm really excited about is the team. That's like my secret
You've always been a team builder.
skill. I got a secret skill that comes with me to the weed factories and the weed farms, and that's the fact that I used to manage hundreds and thousands of caseloads of people. So I am a manager by trade. I did a social work job for over 15 years, and the kinds of relationships that you have to build in quickly with people, like it's just a secret skill that I bring in. I love optimism and positivity, and I like to lead by being a good mentor and a good role model, and the team either jives with that or they don't. And I really haven't been to a place yet where the team doesn't jive with that. So I'm pretty excited to bring that like glue and get everyone like just jacked. If they're not jacked, they're gonna be jacked when I get there. So like my learning pours out to them.
I think back
and to Tanner.
I'm not sure, the first weed factory. I'm not sure if we could say them where you worked there.
And this is not a weed factory.
No, this is not a weed factory. No. I'm describing your team skills from something you described back then.
Yes.
I remember you were in charge of cloning there, but how you
the large weed factory.
You and your team would be going from room to room, and they'd hear you coming down the hall singing. As
we were exactly.
That's where I was going.
It, but I'm pretty sure I brought that. Yeah, we would walk 1 kilometer from the nursery to the pod that we had to go to clone. Like we were a traveling cloning team, and we were like a convoy. So there'd be 7 of us, only girl on the team, 7 and 6 boys, young men, like 20 years old. And I had to keep up with these boys. Like I learned some killer dance moves, and we danced the whole way down there with our stools and our chairs and our cloning tables and our gear, and like, it's the cloning team. And everyone's just like, like that's the part that excites me too, is the team building, and the people, the managing people are just, it's not even managing. It's like I get to build these new relationships with people. I hear they're excited that I'm coming, so that makes me excited. Yeah. I got new best friends waiting for my arrival, so that's half the jam, is the fact that I'm excited for the team. Like that's bringing me over there too.
Yeah, and they have that. It is nice because we're continually getting reorganized. I feel like you're coming in at least a good point. I'm sure things will go off the rails here pretty soon, and we'll have to get our shit back together as things always do in a company. But right now things are humming. And yeah, right now we're on one of these. And you've got an excited team, right? You've got the team you're coming into, they all care, right? They all were willing to do a we're trying to pick up our social media game before Miss Nudie gets here as well, because I know it's going to go through the roof when she gets, but we want that, right? We want,
the other thing. Yes.
We want the story.
Nobody's wanted that yet.
Right. We want it.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
No one's doing it yet.
Yeah. There'll be some things that, it'll be like, hey, we don't have, like a lot of our strain names.
Yeah.
We'll probably leave out and stuff like that, but more or less everything else will be out there, and the team wants that too, because these guys, this team that does anybody call you Genevieve on here? But Jenny, but
they all do, yeah. Jenny, Genevieve,
Genevieve. So but
all
the
names.
team she's coming into, they're gonna love that, right? Like we did a couple reels this week. They did this one where they're in the mom room, and they're going oochie boochie, to this like baby song on Instagram or whatever. The guys all liked it. They thought it was a lot of fun, and so that's all good, right? So telling the story, and it keeps the team, engaged. What do you do for a living? Oh, here, check Insta. Here
It's
I am. Here I, you know what I mean?
energizing.
You
Yeah,
want to
it's
see what I
super
do?
energizing. When you're proud of your work and you're proud of what you're producing, you want to be in these videos. And I'm very good at directing them. Like, I don't need to star them. I got my little superstars everywhere I go. The last place I had Nathan and Kayla, and they would just like, I would just be directing them. I'm like, Nathan, get under the table and roll out 5, 4, 3, 2, and he's, like, and then when I put together, it's like magic, and they love it afterwards, and it's very motivating
So,
because it's cool
Tanner,
and they're
quick question.
young.
Why the secrecy on the strain
Weeds.
names?
Um.
You said,
Oh yeah. So
is that just for testing what you're coming out with? You're saying,
yeah.
those
I mean,
ones you're not saying until you release them, and then.
Yeah, one of the biggest part. We're actually we're a semi nursery, right? We're a semi genetic supply house as well for bigger LPs. So it's really just about like while we're hunting more or less, right? Until we, these other strains I was talking about earlier, like our original cookies and Mandelbrot's Royal Kush, and these are all kind of out there now and on the market, and it's really just about, I don't know, keeping a little bit in house until you then when you have the phenol.
I wasn't sure if you were. Yeah. Then
it's not.
No, I wasn't sure.
That's really about
I'm
it.
big on giving growers credit for their strains, not changing name stuff. That's
we don't do that.
Questioning. I saw Spartan brought up the question also, so I had to ask you right away.
I just want to speak to that actually, because I've worked at a few LPs now, and like some of them change the names and some of them don't. Some of them are forced to change the names. So Health Canada doesn't approve of all the strain names that the breeders have come up with. For example,
I do understand,
72 virgins, Seroquel, for whatever reason, they will not let you brand under that. So they make you change the name. So it's a good idea to maybe reach out to the breeder and ask them like what you would want or whatever, but that's not usually what happens. They just change the name. And so I have seen some different dialogue from breeders and just to put that out there, that it's not the LP, it's usually Health Canada. And then the LP just has to come up with the name.
Yep. Where did you get your Royal Kush from? Shutterbob is wondering that in chat.
That's a cut. That's Mandelbrot's Royal. That's a cut. We have outside of that strain, we have a really good selection from the Emerald Mountain guys. Ben and his brother down there. So we've got a lot of the Royal crosses as well. That might be like all right. I'll drop a little bit of preview. So Royal Limeaze is probably one of the lime strains. Excuse me, that we're gonna hunt through. And I think that's Royal 8x8 by some sort of lime strain. I can't remember here right now, but anyways, we've got a few decent direct relationships with a few of the breeders down on the West Coast there, and it's nice. It's nice just to be able to reach out. And when I was growing Mandelbrot's for the first time, it was nice just to be able to message Ben on Instagram and be like, when should I harvest this and what does this look like, and what do you think, right? So, and that's actually one of the strains. So original cookies and Royal Kush are going to be two of Stewart Farms anchor strains in market. Now they're not guaranteed to get over 25%, right? I think I did one run of Royal that came in around 23, which is really good. I think Girl Scout, like the best COA you get on the original cookies cut, it can hit up to 29, but we're talking like that is dialed the fuck in. Yeah, that is dialed right in. But I've got other strains that I know will do over 25 probably every time with little to no effort. But Mandelbrot's and original cookies, they are infamous. They're medically valuable. The Royal Kush full of myrcene, full of it, right? That'd probably be real good for your back, Casey. I would assume on that one. But it's there's so much story.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, for sure. It's great for pain, and that's why it's so medically famous, right? Exactly. So those are going to be our two of our flagship strains. Now there's other Girl Scout cookies out there, but not this cut, right? There are there's lots of Seed Pop GSCs out there. I wouldn't say anybody's done it fantastic yet. Some guys have done it pretty decent. There's no Royal Kush on the market as far as I'm aware, and this run that we're doing for the Royal, it is purple. It is like the whole bud is like gone purple, and it's got another 7 to 10. We're just about to take down our newest harvest of Royal Kush. It's got 7 to 10 more days left. It's purple as fuck already. My last run, my run that did 23%, I've got it in bags now. I didn't get those perps out of it, right? Like the leaves all turned purple, but the bud didn't turn like I wanted it to, and it was just not drastic enough temperature drop soon enough on the grow. But anyways, we're really excited, and we've got the story, right? We've got the story of Mandelbrot's Royal. We've got the story of the original cookies cut. So there's a lot to talk about there when we put it out on the market too. So that's where we're gonna go.
So how far is your reach? Can people on the West Coast order yours? I guess this is where I'm not really sure on Canadian law. Can they order it through different provinces and order it all the way wherever, or is it province by province how you can sell it?
You can order our infused bath bombs almost anywhere in Canada right now. So we didn't talk about that too much on this, but we're a topicals company.
They're awesome.
Yeah, this is one of our non-infused ones, chocolate hashberry. But anyway, so we've got infused bath bombs and
I'd love some non-infused hash ones to try. Since we can't get the infused ones.
They actually, we can do that. We can do that. We can send you some non-infused bath bombs, and that was the whole point.
I love them for my wife. She'd be happy with them.
Yeah,
they smell so good, and they make your skin feel so good afterwards. So not even just the cannabis that's in them, because I buy them all the time. I have a budget for Stewart Farms bath bombs since January.
Our 3
and like.
Coming out.
I buy them out of the local dispensary. There's only one in town, and he keeps the Stewart Farms bath bombs in stock because of me and my friends.
I love that. And the bath bombs were such a great thing for us to put out, and that's all thanks to Katrina, Katrina's been doing topicals for 18 years. And the baseline was, let's put out something great that regardless of if it has THC and CBD in it. So it's just like, let's make a great bath bomb. So they're very moisturizing. And when somebody buys a bath bomb from you, you are automatically helping them by default, right? Because it's like bathing is alone time. It's good for your mental health anyways. And if you can give them this kind of this relaxation benefit without making a medical claim. Well, actually, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna. This is a review we got in today that Katrina sent me, and this is why. I mean, that's why I started in food. This is why we're doing cannabis now, because I want to help people, right? And it feels awesome. So like this review here. Her name's Whitney. I won't say her last name because I don't have permission to, but she took the Blue Dream bath bomb. She said, me and my boyfriend got one, stayed in for about an hour. When we got out, this kind of gets gross. It took all the dead skin off of us, which we thought was wild. I often exfoliate my skin, never have had dead skin come off like that. I wasn't expecting to get high off of it, but when I got out of the bath and into bed, I didn't want to get up for like 2 hours. Quite enjoyable experience, and for the price, it isn't nearly as much as I would have expected for the quality. You can compare prices to bath bombs at Lush, so she's saying it's a super reasonable price, and that's amazing. So we very relaxed, very calm, felt unbothered. We had another store manager out in Alberta. I think it's Prestige Cannabis. She said she had 70-year-old men coming in buying these 4 and 5 at a time. We had another bud tender who said she couldn't believe how much it was helping with her psoriasis and people with arthritis and pain and whatever. It doesn't get any better than that, right? Like, we made something, we put it out there, somebody bought it, and it made them feel better, right? Like that's amazing.
That's That's why I got into growing this plant, is helping
That's why we
people.
do it. Yeah.
That's why we do it. I mean, that's what makes you wake up and smile every day, is when you get that you help someone and you get to hear that. It's what it's about. So
Yeah.
it's what it really is about. It's not about that corporate life, and no.
I don't need a yacht.
But if we can
I-
have
I-
Maybe
I
now
can't
that I'm
say
moving to
that.
the East Coast.
I can't say that. I need a yacht, but come on now.
I would like a yacht.
I'll
I mean,
still
but if
get
we
a
can help-
yacht. Yeah. I'm
Think of
gonna
how
build
many
myself a
people.
yacht.
Think of how many people we could help with the yacht. They need to get
Ah,
to
I
somewhere.
know.
We can transport them. They might have arthritis and they need to have a bath in the yacht hot tub with a bath bomb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
really.
It can be so helpful. Yes, exactly. Love it. Love it. Katrina said she's gonna mail you some of them virgin bath bombs. And someone
Bring up an
commented,
my address.
no weed bath bombs for Casey. And then somebody on here commented, silky honey bear coming soon.
Oh, come on now. I shaved, so yeah. I'm getting silky now.
You'll be super silky. You and Heather can have one of them dead skin rub baths together. Sounds romantic.
Alki, we could send these to Denmark as well, man.
Yeah.
We can send non-infused as far as we want.
Well, you know what? Denmark is not, or Copenhagen is not really big on bathtubs, unfortunately. It's
You
not
have
really a
No
common thing.
bathtubs.
I'd have to
No one
throw
has
that
a
into a
bathtub?
fountain or something, but and take a bath there. So yeah, not big on bathtubs here. But,
It won't work. You're gonna have to come visit Canada. I'll get you hooked up. Any
yeah,
house I go
that's been the
into is
plan
gonna
once they
have a
let us
good
across.
bathtub.
They are talking maybe by the end of the month we can come across again, so
We're getting there.
we're getting
I'm
there.
muted. We're a border town. I'm already saying we because I'm there already in spirit. But yeah, I've been watching that closely because I plan on doing my grocery shopping at the Walmart in the America because they have way better snacks.
You're gonna fit in so well here. So like the number one thing. This has been painful for this community because that's the way of life here, right? Like the number one thing that has been set at the border for however many decades. You know, when the border guard goes, what are you doing today? You know, the Canadian says, I'm going to buy milk and gas.
And cheese.
Milk, gas, and cheese. Yeah. Yeah, and then they head over and save $50 and they come back to Canada where everything's more expensive for some reason.
Yeah, that was at the top of my list for reasons to move to New Brunswick. Was like literally one of the first things I thought when I saw how close it was to the States. I was like, I could go get my own Walmart USA snacks. Ugh.
Next year at 420, there's a place called Sugarloaf across the border. They have the reggae festival. So it's 420 and there's still enough snow typically in the mount. So it's like a skiing reggae kind of
There's
festival.
mountains.
It's well, it's an eastern mountain. It's like a
so
large,
I can still snowboard.
you can still snowboard. It's big enough to snowboard. It's not a BC mountain.
Right on. That's cool. I'm not good on those ones, so perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we should wrap it up. I hate to be the Debbie, let's get done, but I have a few things I need to do in between shows. So, and I know I'm not technically the host, but as soon as I leave, I think it shuts everything down.
Well, this has been great.
Yeah. I want to give Tanner an opportunity to like do any final shout outs. I know he has some soil that he wants to promote, maybe.
Yep.
Or if you have anything else you want to shout out,
yeah,
or
we
how
never
people
really
can get
got
a
to talk
hold of
about
you.
that.
Talk a little bit about that and how people can get a hold of you after this if they want to reach out for connection or any other reason.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. So myself is my contact is tannerstewart.life on most Facebook, Instagram, and then just Tanner Stewart on LinkedIn, and then Stewart Farms is same thing, stewartfarms.life on Instagram and Facebook. I think we have a TikTok. I don't know. I'm not on TikTok.
You do have a
But,
TikTok.
we have a TikTok, I guess. I actually don't have that on my phone. But anyways, very very soon. So we use a unbelievable living soil called Adonis. Very soon, I would say within the next month or so, we're going to be distributing or have links and access to the at-home grower for this living soil. It isn't just add water living soil. It is unbelievable. It's made right here in New Brunswick. Farmed worm castings. You know, a lot of the ingredients are local that go into it, and we use it at Stewart Farms. And you know, we're getting we're getting COAs of 25 up to 30% THC on a lot of our strains. Instantly proving to ourselves that you don't need that you can get insanely high THC levels out of living soil done right. And this is fantastic stuff. So that's so we're gonna, as things progress for our company, we're going to really do our best to build an infrastructure to support the at-home grower, right? With great products that we believe in, that we use. And yeah, that's really kind of what we didn't even talk about soil on this talk, but yes, but it's kind of thing.
We're going to have another show. We'll have another show with you. This is going to be an ongoing series of events. Welcome to the shit show.
Nice to be here.
So true.
Yeah. Well, I can tell we have lots to chat about, and you have so much information just about the legislation and stuff that I don't know. And people ask a lot of questions about the Canadian Cannabis Act and legislation that I can't always answer. So we'll get you on for another one of those.
Yeah, if you want to see my face red and
I know
angry
nothing
for a
about
whole
Canadian
show.
law, so.
I'm excited to learn more about that, hanging out with Katrina. Yeah. All the rules.
I love rules. They're the best.
Break a few rules, just little ones. All right, guys.
Yeah, Tanner, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Jenny,
Casey.
best of luck.
Thank you.
Don't forget to keep us posted as you're traveling cross country. We're all going to
Will
be
do.
worrying about you and excited to see your journey.
You can watch
keep
for it
my
in my
friend-
stories. That's where I'll be posting. People can follow me on Instagram at Miss Nudie Grows. And that's where I'll be posting my cross Canada journey from the West Coast. Well, the West inland
and a
to the
backup
East
account being
Coast.
posted soon for her. A
From the
backup account being
foothills of the
posted
Rocky
for her.
Mountains. Yeah, I'm gonna do a cool video. I'll reveal it here because no one will care here, but it's for like not TikTok because I'm not on TikTok, but it's along those lines. The girls at Stewart Farms actually gave me this idea, and that's to jump out of Alberta into New Brunswick, which I will be doing. So wait for that cool video in about 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
Anyways, that's all for me. You guys.
Okay, you guys.
Thanks,
Can you
Casey.
say my
Okay.
friend?
Nice meeting
Yeah.
both of you guys.
Yeah, I do. Well, thanks a lot, Tanner, for coming. I thought it was very enjoyable having you on here, and you definitely sound like a great lead. I think, like, you have good presentation skills, and I think you let us in on Stewart Farms and what it's all about. And I'm getting strong craft cannabis vibes, and yeah.
Yes.
You want to put something out there, and you want to have some aces up your sleeves, some strains, some kill strains that you can be proud of, and that's like not necessarily focused on the percentages, but more like what you consider craft. And yeah, I wish you very much good luck with that, and I hope you and Miss Jenny or Genevieve will make a great team. I'm sure you will. That's what I'm gonna say.
Gonna kill it.
Yeah, and as always, I will thank my sponsor, Playground, which is a wholesale distributor of mediums and nutrients and stuff. Very decently priced, I must add. And I'm sure everybody in Europe knows them, so they can just look for the purple bags. And yeah,
Very nice.
thank the original host and everyone who comes here and chat and supports us. It's very nice of you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone in chat. It's been
Mhm.
fun as always. Honeybear_Casey, if you want to give me a follow. As always, thanks to Luminar. I wouldn't be growing without them and their lights because they give them to me. So can't turn away free lights, you know. And they work, so they work decently. It's gonna be an exciting month for everyone. Can't wait to see everyone next month. We'll be back to Wednesdays again, so
Mhm.
thanks, chat, and thank you, everyone. And Jenny, best of luck. And travel
Thanks
safe, my
for
friend.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thanks, everyone.
hosting tonight. And I'm going to peace out here. Thanks, chat. I forgot to thank the chat. I was trying to keep up. You guys are awesome. And we will see you next month from New Brunswick. Bye.